All right, moving on to the Rams. We talked about selling your souls. The Rams sold their souls and their future just to win a Super Bowl in their home stadium. And they had the worst post Super Bowl championship team in NFL history, I believe. They went 5-12 last year. They were decimated with injuries, and they did fill some holes on their roster in the draft.
You know what? The Eagles and the Bengals would kill to have that Lombardi trophy that the Rams have.
Oh yes, I forget we are a Rams apologist here on the show. Yes. And sure, I'm sure a lot of they are the model of how to do that correctly. You got your Super Bowl, but then now there's like 2 or 3 years out from being a championship team again. I feel like they had a very sensible draft. They added some depth at positions, not necessarily starters, but depth. They invested in their O-line, which is great. They got that kid from TCU. Matt Stafford, of course, needs better protection. But the loss of Bobby Wagner, only having him for 1 year, I think is actually going to be huge. They didn't draft a true inside linebacker, and I'm not sure that Ernest Jones is going to be the guy. So I feel like that is their biggest question mark.
This team on paper doesn't look terrible. They were just so ravaged by injuries last year that they didn't have a chance. I think it comes down to Matthew Stafford staying healthy. They drafted Stetson Bennett, which is sort of funny because they drafted him in the 4th round. Most folks didn't think he would go that high. He might be older than Matthew Stafford. Meanwhile, Cardell Jones taking shots at Stetson Bennett for not graduating since being in school since 2017, which is sort of funny.
He didn't graduate? I didn't know that.
No, he was in Austin, Texas, banging on doors.
That is actually the Brinson model, but Brinson graduated.
According to Brinson, he graduated.
I have a diploma, damn it.
What does the BM say about the Rams win total?
I actually had them at 9.
I don't even. Here's the thing: if they're healthy,
love Matthew Stafford, though.
He does.
So the Rams
remove your love for Stafford out.
Stafford. I don't think people really understand how hurt Matthew Stafford was all of last year. The offensive line, major problem. Andrew Whitworth retiring after you win the Super Bowl. Like, that's a big, big deal. Like, look at what happened to Andy Dalton and the Bengals when Andrew Whitworth left in free agency for the Rams. Like, this is a guy that's a borderline Hall of Famer.
You're making him out like he's Tom Brady.
Dude, Andrew Whitworth is one of the best left tackles of the last 20 years.
And the Bengals' downfall that was not a coincidence that it kind of started that 4 year of struggles after Andrew Whitworth left. I don't think it's crazy, Wilson, that the Rams could be good and that Brinson's predicting 9 games. I mean, look, I made a drunken bet with friend of the podcast, Adam Beasley, that the Rams, all bets with Beasley are drunken bets. That's just implied. You don't even have to say it. And I said that the Rams would finish top 2 in the NFC West, and he said there was no way. And it turned into a 10-minute debate and then into a bet. So I do think the Rams could be good, maybe not win the division good, but I don't think 9 wins is that crazy. And Katie's bringing up the Bobby Wagner issue, and that's one position. Wagner was very productive last season. I think he had 6 sacks, a bunch of tackles, and so that's not easy to replace, but it's not like they're trying to replace their whole secondary or, there's a bunch of positions on defense. They still have Aaron Donald. That's huge. And as you guys said, I think the offensive line being healthy is also going to be big. There's not necessarily anyone to replace. It's you got to protect Matthew Stafford because he's so brittle now.
Do we think that Sean McVay is what? Do we think Sean McVay and the offense that the Rams ran is what we? Do we think Sean McVay's offense is what we saw in 2022 or what we see in his entire coaching career? Like, his ability to fix an offense and to get the offense to work and to make subtle changes. I mean, to me, it's crazy. People are like, well, that's it for the Rams. They had it and it's over and it's gone. Like, they still have Cooper Kupp, who got hurt last year. They still have Matthew Stafford, who was hurt all of last year. They will improve the offensive line. They will get some more weapons. To me, this is a team that is prime for a bounce back. I have them losing their first 3 games of the season at Seattle, San Francisco, at Cincinnati, and still finishing 9-8 thanks to what I think is a pretty good, because I have them beating Indy on the road. Don't think that's crazy. Philly at home. Don't think that's crazy. Lose to Arizona, or split with Arizona. Beat Pittsburgh at home. Lose at Dallas. Win at Green Bay. Beat Seattle at home. I have them losing to Cleveland at home. Losing at Baltimore. But then they have Washington, New Orleans, at the Giants, and at San Francisco to close out. And it's possible San Francisco in this particular instance is resting their starters. I think people are just completely glossing over the Rams and just how.
Do you know why McVay is so good?
Why?
Because he went to Miami of Ohio.
Shanahan coaching tree, baby. That's why.
Hey,
That is why.
Breach, I have a
Technically Gruden, I think, but yes, in
Well,
Miami of Ohio.